Hello and welcome to this episode of Voices from Our Schools. I'm Kimberly Stender, your host, and today I would like you to meet two upstanding people in our community, two people who do great things for the youth in our community, and two people who have been involved in what I think is one of the best programs in our town. It's the Amherst A Better Chance House, and we're here today to speak with John Sieracki, who is the ABC Board President, and Talib Sadiq, who is the ABC House Resident Director. And I'm glad both of you gentlemen are here. We have a lot to discuss, and also a big event that's coming up, which we would really like to promote to the community. And it's an event that we'll talk about momentarily. But first, I'd like to just give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about yourself and how you both came to be within the realm of the ABC House and the program. John, would you like to begin?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Kim, and thanks to Amherst Media for this opportunity. It's really wonderful to be able to get the word out about the ABC program, which is a really fine cause and a tradition of Amherst. The question is about how I became involved. My partner, Rhonda Cobham-Sander, had been on the board and knew that I was shared an interest in this kind of work for racial justice and educational equity, and she had had an excellent experience getting to know ABC Scholars 10 or so years ago, and it's always a place that is looking for volunteer help, and I decided to join maybe 6 years ago, join the board. And I've been board president for 3 or 4 years now, and it's what she expressed to me about the fulfillment that she got from knowing the scholars and knowing the program is what keeps me going and the rest of our board. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of hard work, but we see the results of that on a daily basis as our ABC scholars develop and thrive in the high school and at the ABC House.
They become fine young men in
That's
a very
right.
short time.
They do.
Yes.
Well, they come in as fine young men, and we hope that they leave finer.
I like that. That's nice. I like the way that was put. Thanks, John. And Talib, how did you find yourself in the ABC House?
Well, I've grown up in Amherst, so I knew about the ABC House for a long time. And about 5 years ago, some of my friends in the community knew there'd be an opening for the resident director. And they knew that I've been dedicated to really trying to work with youth for a long time and thought it would be a good fit. So they recommended that me and my family apply for the job. And we were interviewed by members of the board. And this is the beginning of my 4th year being the resident director of the program. It's been a really wonderful experience. The guys in the house are great. We really try to foster really a family environment. And I mean, this is the one thing, the main reason why it doesn't seem always like a job. I mean, I work in the middle school and then working with the guys afterwards. I mean, they're such a great bunch of guys. I've really grown to love them, plan on being involved with them for the rest of their lives. It's great to see them grow up and mature and then go off to college and all the successes that they have. And the tradition of the program has been a part of my life for so long that this really feels like right where I'm supposed to be at right now. So.
I agree. I think you're a very influential person at the right place at the right time in this critical moment in these young men's lives. So, thanks for your dedication and your commitment to the ABC House.
Thanks. I've been
Absolutely.
enjoying it.
We're definitely very lucky to have Talib at the helm.
Yeah, it takes a special person.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Get a lot of support.
Yeah,
Which is
you
great.
do. For those of our viewers who maybe don't know much about the ABC program in-house, can you give us a little bit of the history on how it came to be in Amherst? I know it's been in existence for quite some time.
Sure. It's my understanding that the concept for bringing ABC to Amherst began as a combination of outreach efforts by the First Church and also a significant number of faculty and staff members at Amherst College. The ABC program nationally has been in existence since 1963. Amherst College had invited ABC scholars for summer programs between 63 and 68. And then in 1968, part of the outreach from the church, they established, they went in two directions with their outreach. One was to establish the what is now the Fisher Home, and the ABC House. So the idea was to serve people in the community and people from outside the community, that being the ABC House. And there were so many students and faculty at Amherst College involved. The Amherst College class of 1969 actually, instead of publishing a yearbook, they donated the funds that would have been used for that yearbook to help establish the ABC House. And so that's a long time ago in a different era in terms of civil rights, et cetera. And I've heard stories about the difficulties that folks had in establishing the ABC House back then. I've heard a story of the porch of the ABC House being firebombed, which you wouldn't expect in Amherst, but that's the story I've heard from several different people. So anyway, what happens at the ABC House is we work with the national program. The national program recruits young men of color, or they recruit young men and young women of color. For our house, it's boys only. So we get applications from 10 to 20 people that the national program has identified, and most of them, 90% of them, 95% are 8th graders going into 9th grade. And we go through those, and every year we choose, on average, 2 to join the program. What happens is they come from homes that are usually around the New York City area, and they board at the ABC House during their high school years for 10 months out of the year during the school year, and they attend Amherst Regional High School. And they are selected because they have done very well at school, and because they come from disadvantaged school districts, and their parents see this as an opportunity for them to have a much better chance at success. And as I said, we choose them because they've done very well, and we expect them to continue doing very well as they go through the program. And in that time period since 1968, I think between 125, 130 have gone through the program, and they are, many of them who I've gotten to know are real leaders in society. One of them from the class of, in the early 70s, the first cohort, a fellow named Michael Weeks, is currently on our board, and he is the president of an organization called the Providers Council, which is an association of human service agencies throughout Massachusetts. I mean, he's just one example of a leader that has come through our program in Amherst, and that reflects our goal to change the face of leadership in American society, generally speaking. And we are one of about 25 houses, mostly in the Northeast, as far west as Minnesota, as far south as Philadelphia, that area. Of the kids that ABC identifies and recruits, 90% of them go on to prep schools, independent schools, and that other 10% get placed at boarding homes like ours, where they attend the local public high school. So that's a brief a brief history.
That's an excellent culmination of the program. And are there goals involved? Do you have specific goals that you want the ABC scholars to always keep in mind as they travel through the program?
We have a really extensive scholar handbook, and that Talib knows really well. Maybe you can...
Maybe the top 5 goals of every ABC scholar.
Well, I think there's a couple of ways to explain the goals. I think one, we're trying to help these young boys grow into good men, and so the handbook is really designed to do that. There's a lot of rules that kind of mirror, and the expectations that mirror the ones in high school. Things like maintaining honor roll status is one of them. Also being involved in community service activities, extracurricular activities. You know, being a leader not only in the house but in the community, in the school as well. Because they understand and they've done a great job in helping to continue the fine tradition of the ABC program. It has a really good name in this community, and they've really done a lot to help to continue, you know, the good name of the program. So, excuse me, carrying themselves, you know, as gentlemen and scholars in the community is one of the top goals we have. And they have different, we try to involve a lot of life lessons in helping them to really learn how to be on their own. So they have responsibilities around the house that are expected to take care of. You know, it's really hard for a lot of them to be away from home. They come here to us at such a young age. In Connecticut and New York, the two states that these students are from, you know, they generally start school earlier than they do here in Massachusetts. So a lot of them are 13 going on 14, the same age as a lot of our 8th graders here in Amherst, in Massachusetts. So with a lot of support and the older guys in the house, the board members, the community at whole, and of course a lot of communication with the families, you know, we do a lot to help try to make it really feel like a family for them so that they can live up to all these expectations we have and to, you know, learn how to deal being a little more responsibility, doing their own laundry and making sure that they get fed when they're hungry. Then we have meals provided for them Sunday through Thursday, but then at the other times, you know, take care of themselves a little bit more than they would when they're at home.
Absolutely. And I've met many of them through my sons. And I have to say, they're just nice, upstanding young men. And it's always a pleasure to speak with them. They're very articulate. And, you know, I think they're really taking these goals to heart. They're really living by what you teach them. And that's important going forward. So keep up the great work. Yeah, although it might be difficult at times, I'm sure, you know, with teenagers being the way they are and whatnot. I'm sure you've had your talks with them and, you know, reminders, you know, homework and, you know, get involved and always try to do what's best by other people as well and best by yourself.
Well, Talib and his resident assistant, Tyson Rose, run a tight ship, and it's always, as laid back as Talib might seem, I mean, I go into that house and it's clean because the guys have been doing their chores. They're well behaved. There's good energy. They're focused. They want to succeed, and they I think understand the benefit. They understand what they're receiving through the ABC program.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
And I agree. They really do understand and appreciate all the support that they receive from everybody in the community, from the teachers in the school, from the board members, and they do feel like they're, you know, part of something really special. So it's not as challenging as it may seem to get 7. Right now there's 7 teenage boys in the house, including my oldest son, that makes 8. So to get them on board and to work with us to, you know, keep the house clean, to stay focused. So, you know, they do really appreciate all the support, and they work really hard, and they can see, and they've met a lot of the alumni too, and seen and heard the success stories of them. So there's tangible evidence of all the hard work and how it will pay off for them in the future. So
that was my next question. Do a lot of your ABC scholars visit the house once they graduate and move on? And do you have, you know, certain days of the year where all of you get together and, you know, have a dinner or some type of celebration and you know, allow the current ABC scholars to see what they can become down the road?
Well, many of the alumni do come back for the walk. We have, excuse me, you may want to talk about the 40th anniversary. I wasn't really a part of that.
Oh, sure. Well, you know, the alumni are scattered, as you might expect, across the country. There's a large group of them who live out in California, or around the New York, New Jersey area. It's funny because recently we had 2 fellows graduate maybe 2 years ago, and they don't want to leave. They ask questions like, if I go to UMass Amherst, will I be able to live at the ABC house with you guys? And then they come back during breaks and have been checking in, those 2 in particular. But yeah, Talib mentioned we had a 40th anniversary celebration 4 years ago now. It seems like it was just last year, but at that time, this was a benefit dinner that we held at UMass in the College Center, and and we had probably 20 or 25 of the alums come, a cohort from California, from all over, and they attended the dinner. At the end of the dinner, we told them, okay, you each have a minute to get up, because they're itching to talk to the group, and that was just an absolutely moving. It was probably 30 minutes of one after another going up to the microphone, telling briefly their story, and absolutely believing that the ABC program completely transformed their lives and put them on a completely different track than they would have been otherwise, and were grateful. And that was, a point where I said, oh my gosh, this program works. Look at these guys. It was incredible. And so we do also, offer every summer, one aspect of work at the ABC House is keeping the house up, maintained and improved.
It is.
And we have a group of alumni who are very interested in that, coming up every summer. It didn't happen this past summer, but usually we have a work day where people who are local can come and help get the house ready for the next school year.
Mm-hmm. And you can attest to that?
Yes, no doubt. It's a lot of work. Is a great opportunity to get a lot of work done in the house and get the house ready. And it's always nice to have. We'll get some surprise visits as well from alumni who will be back in town to visit. Some that have graduated between, in the last maybe 7 or 8 years, who are still in college or have just graduated college. They'll come back up and they'll visit their host families. Which every scholar in the house is paired with someone in the community called a host parent, a host family, and they spend 1 weekend a month out of the school year with them. And those relationships date back from the beginning of the program. We hear stories from board members and past board members that they've gone to weddings and graduations. It's a lifelong relationship. So a lot of people will come back and visit, and they always make a point to stop by the house. We have an open invitation for them to come to dinner with us, and it's great when they come and they share their stories with the scholars. I think it's such a meaningful way for them to connect, and again, for them to see some of the opportunities and the possibilities that this program can offer to them, and has offered to so many people before them.
And it seems as you're very successful in cultivating this really strong network that's very inspirational, very supportive. You created a safety net almost, and these young men are learning, well, if I put my best foot forward, or if I really strive to be a good person, a good student, a great athlete, or whatever they want to do, there's people around us who will support us in our decisions and give them the confidence that they need. Being away from home, I think would be very, very difficult at, like you said, such a young age. But because of people like you in the community, it makes it all the better for them.
Yeah, well, it's a huge responsibility. I mean, it's a leap of faith that their parents are taking, that the Amherst community will support their sons, and it really is the community. This is I've never been involved with an organization like this that is literally all volunteer. And members of the community, probably dozens, maybe hundreds, each take a little piece of the work, or a little piece or a big piece, and all of those pieces fit in to create that net that you were talking about. And so it's a little scary sometimes, but it's amazing in that way, that it really is a community effort, and it's a place where people who believe in the cause can come and do a little bit of work or a lot of work, and see the results, know that they're affecting someone's life directly, and also in the macro picture affecting society. So
it's a positive impact on a lot of people.
Yes.
Yes. And I know Amherst College sends in tutors. They help the scholars with their academic work, and I'm sure that, there are other mentors involved in their lives in different aspects, taking them out on outings, or introducing them to people in the community, making them feel like they're a part of us, part of Amherst, I should say. And while they're here for 4 years, it's a very special place for them.
Indeed it is.
And speaking of special things, we have the annual ABC Fall Foliage Walk and 5K Run coming up on October 20th, which is a Saturday. And I know it's a huge fundraiser for your organization.
That's right.
Yes.
The Fall Foliage Walk has been around just about as long as the ABC House has been around. This is the 41st annual Fall Walk, and we have a very dedicated committee that's working on putting it together. I've heard stories, and most of the stories come from one of the first board chairs at ABC, a guy named Frank Anderson, who's a wonderful, wonderful man. He described to me how the concept of the Fall Foliage Walk came to be, and that it was to admire the different colors in the trees and reflect on diversity in the community. And the idea was that kids from school would go out and collect as many different kinds of leaves as they could and learn about the trees and the forest, but also use it as a discussion about civil rights and about diversity. And so the Fall Foliage Walk, which is now this tradition, in the past has been a long walk that has maybe taken as long as 12 miles through the Robert Frost Trail mostly. In recent years, we've pared it down and we've changed it a little bit. So now it's a 5K walk and a 5K run. And it begins and ends on the town common. The 5K run ends a little bit off the common, but on the campus of Amherst College. But you can, if you are a runner, you can register, and it's a legit sanctioned by the local athletic club, and I believe the fee is $25 for the run. The basic fee to walk is $25. All of this, the dollars that come in go directly to the program. We have a budget of less than $100,000, and that is groceries. We have a mortgage. We, allowances.
Laundry detergent, soap,
Food.
yeah, all that
Those
stuff.
teenage boys
The
eat a
heat,
lot.
just the basic stuff, and it's about what it costs to run a household, and a middle class household, and look what we do with that. That's pretty astounding, I think. Typically, we raise about $30,000 through the walk. We have a series of sponsors. Local businesses that contribute $250 or more get recognition on posters and on the website and at the walk, etc. And we send out pledge cards to everyone, all the local school children,
Yes.
and who go to the public schools and some of the private schools as well, and they can go around and gather pledges per kilometer.
And anyone can run or walk. It doesn't have to be
That's
just
right.
necessarily school children.
Right.
It's
Oh,
families, adults, community members,
Definitely,
college students.
we have, I think every year that I've been involved, I think the Amherst College girls track team has run it.
In about 10
but-
minutes.
Yeah,
They're done.
They do. But it's a great cross section of the Amherst community, the UMass community, Amherst College, Hampshire College, all kinds of people, and people who care about diversity here in the community, in the schools, and nationally. Come out and do it, and it's fun, and you get some exercise, and
You get to meet everyone, talk to people. It's a real social
that's right.
event.
But this year there's a really special reason to come. After the walk and run, starting at about noon, there is a barbecue. The barbecue is provided by the Black Sheep and the Rotary Club.
And that's on the town common?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And also, if you walk or run, you get a free lunch that way. If you don't, there's a small fee for that. And we're going to have the Charles Neville Jazz Quartet
Wow.
performing. Charles has played for us a couple of times in the past, and it's beautiful music. And I mean, if you can imagine a sunny fall day, and it always has been sunny on that day, except for one time, I'm told, that before my time. Beautiful fall day, nice and cool, beautiful foliage, listening to jazz on the common, eating a hamburger, talking to friends, being among people who share your values. It's a wonderful day to spend October 20th.
Yes, Saturday, October 20th.
Yeah, that's right.
And anyone can sign up online at amherstabetterchance.org.
That's right.
And they could register $25, I think you said was the entry fee.
And there's a link that if you're a runner, it takes you to a special run registration page. So everyone's all set. If you just go to the website, you can link to what aspect of it you want to be a part of.
Well, this is really exciting, and I know you'll get a lot of people this year coming out and helping. I know the Amherst Public Schools are promoting this. I know all the principals are on board. We see signs all over. So I'm sure you will get a few thousand people this year, which would be wonderful.
That would be
Plus
great.
to see Charles Neville.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great time.
That's an added bonus.
Yep.
So we're going to be closing in a little bit. We have about a minute or two left in the program already. So I just want to know from you, Talib, what do you think has motivated people to want to get involved in the ABC program, whether as community members, volunteers, or people on the board to kind of help out? What do you think?
I think the tradition of the program, I mean, living in Amherst has been such a big part of this community for so long. It's hard to come across someone in this town who hasn't been involved in the ABC program in one way or another. And hearing the stories of, you know, the scholars and the successes that they've had now and the ones that they've gone on to, they can see and feel the positive energy that this program has been able to produce and the great outcomes for a lot of these students. So I really think it's the stories and the history of the program itself that has motivated people to get involved and to stay involved with the program year after year.
Great. And John, in closing, is there anything else you want the community to know about the ABC House and the ABC program that we might not have covered already?
Yeah, well, Amherst ABC is a United Way partner agency.
Okay.
And if a lot of people know that the United Way is going through a new way of funding, 3-year cycles. The group that we're in, children and youth, is the cycle is this year for applications. And if to anyone who's involved in United Way, I just want to encourage you to support the ABC program and keep us on as a partner agency that really serves in many ways the residents of Hampshire County.
Okay.
So.
That's Jim Ayers and his crew over
That's
there at
right.
the United Way of Hampshire County. They're a great bunch. We really admire them and their work. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on Voices from Our Schools today. I truly appreciate the time you took and the commitment you give every day to the ABC Scholars and the ABC program. So I know great things will come of this, and I'll continue to look for those young men over at the high school when I visit. They're a great bunch, and you're doing a fabulous job with them. And I thank you for joining us today on Voices from Our Schools. I'm Kimberly Stender, and I hope you have a great day.